So this should be the beginning of our unintentional marks video. And before we get started, I do want to say, because I don't know if I said it in just the last video, the 3 sketchbook studies that we'll do together will actually be this week. So I'll go over 3 techniques all within 1 week. I'll even give you guys a couple extra days to finish the sketchbook layouts, and then you'll turn those in. And then you guys will eventually do an independent sketchbook study, and then you'll have a project, and then you guys will have independent studies in between your projects. So anyway, just so you know, you'll have 3 within this week that I'll show you, and then you'll have 3 on your own throughout the semester. So I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that before we get started. Okay, so I'm going to go through and we're going to start our unintentional mark one. And what this is, and I'm just going to talk over this video, is you are creating an unintentional mark, and I say unintentional because you really don't know how it's going to end up. And we're going to end up using this same method that this artist is using. But in this video, as you guys can see, he's using different things to create some mark. And he's using India ink. You guys will too. So as you guys just saw, he used a shoe. And now he's doing like the mystery machine from Scooby-Doo. And then here we go again with like screws and nuts and stuff. And he's starting with this mark, and then he's now creating this very elaborate finished piece. I would want you guys to try to aim for something like this because it is just it's so cool. It really is. And it really exercises that part of the brain that we tried to really accomplish in art too at the beginning, with starting something and then turning it into a final artwork. But anyway, so that was the first example here. We're going to use this exact method here in a couple minutes, but let me show you 2 other videos. And I do want to say that this style of artwork or this technique actually derived from a well-known artist that you already know, and that is Leonardo da Vinci. And he encouraged artists to look at inspiration everywhere, and he talked about how he could find like patterns in like tiles and stones, and he was able to look at those weird marks or like accidental blots, as he put it, and make it into like a visual artwork in his mind. I don't know about you, but if I've looked at the tile on the floor and looked at all the speckles, sometimes I can make an image out of something, or specifically tile, I don't know why, but tile in like my bathroom, I can make out faces in that. So anyway, that's kind of where Leonardo da Vinci is getting at here. And if you don't know, Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. So anyway, okay, next video, same kind of technique. She is using the ink blot method. If that video will load, yeah. And that is where you just do little drops of ink and fold the paper and yeah, have like this very symmetrical final image. And then this artist also used color India ink as well, or watercolors too, and did that. Okay, so starting with an unintentional mark there. The next one I'm going to show you is where a mom would ask her, I can't remember his age, I want to say 2 or 3-year-old son to draw or paint something on a sheet of paper, and then she would draw or paint his portrait on top of it. Now, she's not so much as using the the mark to create something, she's kind of going on top of it, but she's using it in a way to where it's more of a collaborative piece. It's beautiful. The audio is going to be weird while I play the video, so just fair warning, because whenever there's audio in a video, it just, I don't know, when doing the screen recording, it gets weird. But anyway, so let me get to that. So she just said he was 3 years old. She's a full-time artist and illustrator. And now she's showing it to him, and he has the cutest reaction. If you look up this person on TikTok, I don't know if you can see their handle down here, um, but yeah, very cool. Love to do this with my son one day. Oh yeah, here's her handle so you can look her up. But let me get back to this slide, and we'll start getting into our unintentional marks. So, you guys are going to be creating your unintentional mark the very same way that our first artist did in that video, and that was just using miscellaneous items. So what I have here, and I will have this, I will have this prepared for each table. So if there's 4 of you sitting at a table, you're going to share these items, but not your paper, of course, because you will need your own paper. But what you're going to need is you're going to need the India ink itself, and I'll have them in these little cups here. You're going to need a cup to like kind of put the materials in, and then you'll need like a little dumping bowl. But anyway, so you'll need these 3 things, and then your paper. You guys will have a tester paper, which will be small, and then a final paper, which will be big. If you find that you want to do more of these, you're more than welcome to. If you don't like how these turn out, again, you can do more. But anyway, okay, so my miscellaneous items are genuinely just screws and tacks and things like that. So let me grab some of these. I do like to say these, no, it's not these. I think it's, watch me be wrong, but these like little pins like spin really well. So I'm gonna go for one of these. And then, what do I want to do? I like a little screw in there. Another one for fun. I'll do a bolt. So I have about 4 things in there. I'll throw one more tack in there just for fun. Okay, so hopefully I get this good on the first try. Sometimes it's not always pretty. But like I said, this is India ink, and it looks like this. It's just the Speedball regular India ink. I would try not to get this on your clothes because it is permanent. So I have aprons that sit on my easel. Should be by the sinks. It's where they are currently. So I have those before you do this. But anyway, so we have our India ink, and I'm going to try to be pretty, I don't know, stingy, I guess, with this. I'm not going to add much. I'm going to add like a little drop. I'll say that's good. And And I'm just gonna get these fully saturated, kind of get them all dipped in that ink. And then now, I'm gonna start with my tester one. I'm gonna dump them out on here. Perfect. Oh, missed one. And it flew away, so not meant to be. And then I'm gonna grab my bowl. And then I'm gonna carefully pick up this paper. Oh yeah, that one's already moving on me. That's awesome. And then I can move this however I want to. Gonna give it a little bit more. Nice. It already dropped on my pants. Perfect. But anyway, here's my mark. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna set it off to the side. And then I'll try to think about what I could make out of this. I'm already looking at this, and this already kind of looks like a spray bottle. I don't know why. That's like a cleaning spray bottle. Or like a tool. This kind of looks like Phineas from Phineas and Ferb. But anyway, so I'm going to set that off to the side. I have my big one here. This could be my final. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up those ones I got off the floor here. And throw my tools back in. If I didn't like any of the things that I got out of this, I can always add more. I'm gonna add this little texture guy. I'm not even sure what that is. But yeah, I'm gonna throw them in here. Same thing. Might need a little extra ink. Not much. I don't know if you guys can see that. But not much is in here. Same thing. And kind of spread them out here. I even added that extra ink just so I could have something to work from. And then I could like move this around. Like I've already made a cool circle there. I'm making a mess. And then my tag didn't do anything, but it's stuck there. Okay, so now I have my little tester piece. And then I have this little guy. So let me show you some unintentional mark examples before I let you guys go do this. I'll show you mine first. I didn't finish it, I'm going to be honest. But I'll show you how I was starting it. So, let's see. Y'all's will be 10 times better than mine, by the way. Again, I did not finish mine. But I started it. And that is, I went and cut out my practice, or my practice. And then I just showed like the starting point, like what we were doing. So I said what you start with. By the way, I labeled my paper Unintentional Marks. I want you guys to do the same. Also wrote on here that I was inspired by Da Vinci, because that's pretty important to know. Then I went through and explained my process. Or actually, no, I didn't. I wrote the questions on here, but I want you to explain your process and how you did this. So again, this is my little practice. This is where your questions can go. Make yours prettier than mine. Mine's just writing this down. And then I didn't mention this, but this was the start of my final. I ended up having like all these circles, and I was like, oh, that could be an owl wearing a pair of headphones. But I didn't finish that. I need to finish it. But anyway, this is the start of mine. I tried to start adding like little creative elements into my little layout as well. Something I wish I would have done was I wish I would have made like a black sheet of paper and then wrote on it with like a white gel pen or something. I think that would have added a lot of nice contrast to mine. But anyway, So that's that first example. I'm going to show you, hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to show you this next example. This is Kaylin's example. Again, this is her unintentional marks. I love that she went and cut around her practice one. Yeah, and she's just showing like where we started, answering questions. In the last video where I showed the sketchbook studies, I want you guys to be more like Gracie and answer your questions more thoroughly. These questions are answered very bluntly, which I appreciate, but also I want you guys to be more thorough. So I'll show you Gracie's here later on because she's very great at answering your questions. But anyway, Kaylin, this is her final artwork. I hate that her next slide kind of bled through because this did look great on its own. But anyway, she ended up making a little scene with food. She had a really cool drip mark. So she has like a donut, an egg, orange juice, some breakfast foods, and a muffin or cupcake. But anyway, so that's her unintentional marks. This is Chloe's. Same thing, showing the example, answering questions. She ended up doing a landscape for hers, which is very cool. And then we have Gracie. She actually didn't answer very thoroughly in this one, but she does throughout her sketchbook. Let me even see in the next one if she did. Yeah, she's normally very thorough. But this was her unintentional marks. Again, her practice, her final, and then answering her questions. And she did the reverse, like using the black paper on white, and I think that has a really cool look. But anyway, so that is unintentional marks. I want you guys to go through and create some examples here. Let the small one be your practice one. And if you want to make an image out of this and kind of practice that too, you're more than welcome to. But let your bigger one be your final one. By the way, if you end up putting too much ink on your paper, I do have hair dryers. So you can try that. Just know that the ink can start moving around on your paper. But anyway, go have fun. I'm excited to see how these turn out. Bye, guys.